tradition as steeped as it is at Texas A&M. The Aggies even have yell practice. Last night, 45,000 jammed into Kyle Field at midnight.
Students at A&M, they talk about
Kevin Kiley, it was truly an amazing sight last night into the wee hours. 45,000 faithful practicing yelling, and they're on their feet this afternoon.
45,001. I was there, and you really have to battle the entire student body here at Texas A&M. LSU is facing that 12-man kickoff team. That's what they can do. Very tough. These are guys out of the student body, non-scholarship players mostly.
These are walk-ons, of course, and as you saw on that graphic, they have been playing very well. Scott Slater, number 3, to kick to either Eddie Fuller, number 33, or Harvey Williams, 22, to the near side. It is long, it is deep, it is toward the far sideline, and it's Eddie Fuller. Eddie Fuller dancing, stutter step, breaks it across the 30.
As potent offenses you'll find, Hodson a record breaker. He can do it all at quarterback. Harvey Williams, a great player, runner-up to Hodson, SEC Rookie of the Year. And the receivers, Wendell Davis is a great one. Raji McGee and Kitchen, both excellent, great receiving corps. The tackles, Norwood could be an excellent player, could be a great player. Ubix is a new guy, we'll have to watch him. Guards and centers, Alpha Gamma could be an All-American. Same for Andalsek. They are as good as anybody in the country.
Raji McGee to the near side. Wendell Davis, top of your screen. Hodson on a dive play to Harvey Williams. Blocking over on the left side by Ralph Norwood, the tackle by Terrence Brooks. How about the Aggie defense?
Defense, a little bit of a question mark. O'Brien, the only returning starter you saw, they went right off tackle there on Terry Price. Jackson and Batiste played a lot last year. They're excellent linebackers, big hitters. Wallace and Roper, the outside guys, big play game. Big play guys, outside linebackers.
First and 10, LSU. Davis, top of your screen. McGee to the near side. Hodson, the sophomore. Lots of time. Underneath, incomplete. Looking for Brian Kinchin, number 49, the senior tight end. How about the secondary?
Secondary for A&M, the safeties are excellent, as good as any two safeties you're going to see in the country, Carrington and Brooks. They will move around quite a bit. Cornerbacks, by the way, at A&M are both two new guys. There's a new position for them. They've been moved around, and you can expect LSU to attack them.
Line of scrimmage, the 43-yard line of the Fighting Tigers. Tony Moss, the sophomore, checks in. Raji McGee, the senior wide receiver, checks out. Moss wears number 6.
And at the corners would be number 30, Alex Morris, and number 20, Tony Jones. Both of these guys young, good players, but a little bit inexperienced.
Jimmy Harper is the referee. The clock starts. 14:25 left in this first quarter. Lots of noise at College Station. Pitch back to Harvey Williams. Dances across the 50. His knee was down at the 49. The sophomore out of Hempstead, Texas, 6'2", 210. 178 carries for 700 yards, averaging just under 4 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns. And the All-American candidate, Kip Corrington, number 10, the senior out of College Station, Texas, grew up right here in the shadow of Kyle Field.
Important to note on Harvey Williams, when he was being recruited, it came down to 2 for LSU. Mike Archer has to be feeling it right now. His first game ever as a head coach. His offense is off and running, but that's really not the question mark with LSU. They're an excellent offensive team. The question mark, and the questions will be answered when the defense takes the field.
Sam Martin, 23, replaces Harvey Williams in the Tiger backfield, and there's a timeout. Also Tony Moss in at wide receiver. We saw that shot of Mike Archer, the youngest head coach in Division I. Christmas came early. It was December 23rd of last year when he found out he was replacing Bill Arnsparger. So you have the youngest replacing the oldest.
And what an interesting situation to be in. LSU, one of the great programs in the country, in the very tough Southeastern Conference. Archer, a guy who has really learned under Snellenberger and Arnsparger, and two of the offensive and defensive geniuses in college football. So his credentials are great, but this is on the field, and LSU is used to winning. Archer will have to produce.
2nd down and 7. Williams, by the way, checks out. He has 21 yards receiving and 3 yards rushing. Line of scrimmage, the 29-yard line. There is Mike Archer over on the sideline.
Pretty good job by A&M now holding him on first down. I alluded to that. Now, first down is a key for LSU. They are very predictable. We'll talk about their formations coming up. We'll tell you, you can almost tell what they're going to run by the way they line up. They just make it happen offensively.
Wendell Davis, the near side. Hudson, the sophomore. Split. Victor Jones and Sam Martin. Looking for Bunkin, number 7. Might be a motion against Jimmy Hubicks. Looked like the right tackle might have moved.
Number 49 at tight end, it was Kinchin ever so slightly. Watch the A&M players, how smart they are. They go on movement, and they get right in that neutral zone and make them call the penalty. Drawn off. Kinchin leaving the field. A&M picks up 5 yards.
So it's now second down and 12. Hodgson bends in. Moss, McGee, and Davis are the wideouts. Backs are split. Jones and Martin. Victor Jones or Sam Martin. That was Sam Martin, and it's trapped. Terrence Brooks came up from his strong side safety spot number 27 to make the hit out of Dallas, Texas. They call him Chet.
They call him Chet. They call him whatever he wants to be called, the guy. He's just an outstanding cover guy. He's a great blitzer, and he can hit like a horse. And there's a guy who's a terrific player. Now, they went over Norwood on there. There's a big hole, but Brooks came in and made the play. An excellent play by the safety. Used to be a corner.
Last year, Tommy completed 51% of his third down passes. Right now, he's facing 3rd and 8. Lone running back, Victor Jones. Hodgson back. Got his man. Incomplete at the 12-yard line. Sam Martin tried for a diving one-handed catch.
Sam Martin was out of the backfield, out of the slot position. Now, he had him open. And Hodgson needed to make this go. They got a little bit of pressure from A&M. They did not rush everybody. But look at Roper. This is a linebacker forcing him back into Hodgson. He feels the pressure, has to let go of the ball. Martin with a great effort. That ball a little bit off the mark.
This will be a 37 second on 10, a 47-yard try for David Browndike. Out of the hold of Leonard Valentine. Snap, spot kick is on its way, and it's no good. They're on their feet in Aggie land, close to 75,000. They started coming in last night. Some have driven from as far away as 10 hours.
Here's the new guys for Texas A&M. Craig Stump takes over. 5 years he waited. Kevin Murray is gone. Players believe in him. Woodside, a big play guy. They'll get the ball to him. Now, Percy Waddle is a big play receiver. He's the guy they'll look for. Morgan doesn't catch many. Harris is excellent. Cheek has got to have a big game. Bartley is a newcomer. Matt Wilson could be an All-American. McGuire and Fano all solid on the offensive line.
Morgan, Coster, and Harris are the wideouts. Pitch back to the tailback. Not much doing for Keith Woodside.
Defensively for the Tigers, they lost 3 all-conference players up front. A&M will test all 3 of these. Clapp, Phillips, and Dunbar. The linebackers inside. They're looking for leadership from Nicky Hazard. He's a hitter. He's the captain. Oliver Lawrence in place of Hill. Sancho, they're the rush guys.
Waddle comes out wide.
Guidry gave A&M fits last year. And Jackson Carrier's an excellent safety. Carrier, big player.
A dive to Matt Gurley, the big running back. 6-footer, 210 out of Arlington, Texas. Straight up the middle. Blocking up front by McGuire, Wilson, and Fontenot. Hazard, Nicky Hazard, the senior from New Orleans, 6'1", 219 on the stop.
A&M will run 6 plays, 6 different formations coming out. The reason? They want to see what LSU will do on defense in every situation. So they'll test their entire defense on the first 6 plays of the game. You will not see them repeat a formation through the first 2 series if they don't get a first down.
Tony Thompson checks in. That's Harris in motion, top of your screen on 3rd and 6. Stump can run for it. Dives down at the 34. Darrell Phillips, this junior out of Franklin, Louisiana, 6'2", 245. The nose tackle chased down the quarterback.
And that's what Stump can do that Kevin couldn't do. Stump is mobile. And Kevin Murray had a lot of problems. He had that ankle injury, the plate in his ankle, and he could not run around back there. You'll see A&M's offense do a lot more of that.
Jimmy Young, number 5, is back deep. Sean Wilson, redshirted in '86. Hangs it high. It's a beauty. A spiral. And it backs Young up to the 13. Got a block. Dances to the 22. A 9-yard return after a 54-yard punt. LSU and Texas A&M scoreless here on ESPN. The CFA on ESPN is being brought to you by Tempstar, the newest name in home heating and air conditioning. You can rely on the Star. And by 7-Up. Feels so good coming down. Tiger put on some weight.
Yeah, it's a good life down in Louisiana. We talk about LSU's offense now. They are very predictable. Over a 4-game period out of the I formation, they have run 82% of the time. They're in the I formation now. Now, Texas A&M knows that, and they will set their defense accordingly against the run.
Jones, the fullback, Martin, the tailback. McGee and Davis slotted top of your screen. Sam Martin gets wrestled down at the 28. Terry Price, the sophomore out of Plano, Texas, 6'4", 230, number 88.
Now, remember what I told you, 82% of the time they're playing run. Roper down nice and low, gets his hand on the guy who's trying to block him. And look, if he strings it out, in position, makes the tackle. Great defensive position by Roper, and look at how many A&M players are there. Remember, they will go with the percentages. They'll play pass when they know it's pass. They'll play run when they think it's run.
Hodgson now, Kevin, 1 for 3, just 9 yards. Fuller replaces Martin. Slot to the left with McGee and Davis. Little inside delay. Victor Jones. Hammered down at the 32. Let's go back to our studio now and check in and see what happened with Texas Tech and Florida State and rejoin Tim Brando.
All right, Jim, a wild one underway in Tallahassee. Danny McManus goes 37 yards to Herb Gaynor for the touchdown. It's 30-16. They haven't reached halftime. Spike Dykes' club is trailing, and LSU is trying to move against Texas A&M. Jim?
All right, Tim, 3rd and 4 back here at Kyle Station. Kyle Field. Wendell Davis slotted out to the left side along with Raji McGee. And a penalty flag will apparently back up the Tigers. 8:11 left to go. It's been a scoreless game.
The key to beating LSU is to put them in predictable situations. We talked about first down. It's an offensive penalty. They're going to go back.
And back.
See, this is great for A&M.
Jimmy Harper is our referee.
This is great for A&M because it's an obvious passing situation. Now, A&M can take advantage. They can go into their nickel defense, which we'll talk about, which is very heavy against the pass. They put a lot of defensive backs in.
Wendell Davis commanding double coverage, top of your screen. Hodgson now needs 9, won't get it. Releases to Williams, and Williams explodes. That's the shortest Hail Mary pass you'll ever see. 25 yards, and Williams turned what looked like a nothing play into a first down. Watch Hodgson, number 13. The pressure comes from Roper, 83.
Terrible play by Hodgson. Hodgson sees it. He's a young player, still a sophomore. He should have eaten this ball. It's up for grabs. The defense not watching. Williams runs underneath it, and he's down the road. Now, that's very frustrating for A&M. Great defense. Everything was right. Hodgson does the wrong thing. They get a first down.
Pitch back. Harvey Williams again. Convoy left. Tripped up at the 40-yard line by Kip Warrington.
Tackle by number 27.
Warrington will hit you 170 pounds. They say out of uniform, you'd never even know he was a football player. In the uniform, you better stay away from him. He'll pound you. Big play on first down. They pick up about 7 yards. Now, this is what you don't want LSU to do.
There's what Kip Warrington did last year. 2nd and 3 for the Tigers. Davis, top of the screen. Moss to the near side. Moss in motion. It goes to Victor Jones, blocking up front. Ondulsek and Basil Jackson, 53, the junior inside linebacker, 6'1", 219. Helped out by number 48, Dana Batiste.
Remember, it's the I formation. We talked about it. 82%. Sammy O'Brien should be playing run. He takes up 2 men, but he goes down. He needs a linebacker to fill. O'Brien kept his feet on the line of scrimmage long enough. He needed a guy to come in and fill that hole, and there wasn't anybody. Middle guard will usually get blocked, but he has to hold off 2 people for the linebackers to fill. On that play, they didn't.
Good battle going on in the trenches between the center, Nacho Albergamo, and Sammy O'Brien, the 35, down to near the 34-yard line in the grasp of the junior out of Plano, Texas, Timmy Landrum.
Again, the I formation. They ran 132 I formation plays over 4 games, 73 out of the weak formation, 41 out of the single back, and their split formation 30 plays. The I formation is their prevalent formation, and they will run at it. They are a running team. In spite of Hodson's statistics from last year, LSU will stay on the ground and take them.
Second and 7 out of the backfield. Sam Martin wrestled out of bounds at the 25-yard line of Texas A&M. John Roper on the coverage. Hodson, after a slow start, 1 for 3, 9 yards, starting to heat up now, working over that secondary, picking on the corners of Texas A&M. Sam Martin, the senior, excuse me,
Jim, going back a year, his first 3 passes in last year's game were not only incomplete, they were terrible passes, and he overcame that to complete 7 in a row, and of course LSU won it, so he's no stranger to starting off slow.
There goes Harvey Williams. Inside the 15. Corrington came up to make the tackle. Otherwise, the Tigers had 6. Black, the freshman out of Decatur, number 72, has replaced O'Brien at nose guard.
A lot of firepower. Again, the I formation. You have to read the fullback, but Williams, a great back, cuts back against the grain. The defense overruns it a little bit. Remember, they've replaced all their linebackers. They lost all 4 linebackers last year, A&M did. They're all in the pros. These kids have some experience, great talent, but the experience factor may be a problem.
4:59, a timeout on the field for a measurement. Let's go back to the studio. Tim, what's happening? Florida State is leading Texas Tech at the half by 14. Florida State, as you see, ranked number 14 in the country. And our back here at Kyle Field, it's 1st and 10, and there goes Harvey Williams. Harvey Williams dives down to the 12 in the grasp of Basil Jackson, the junior from Hammond, Louisiana.
Great pursuit by the Aggies. LSU really stretching them out. They've thrown some. They've run inside very well. They're trying to go wide. They haven't had so much success going wide, but what they're doing is they're running this defense from sideline to sideline, showing them a lot of looks, trying to confuse that young bunch of linebackers and those defensive linemen, and they're doing it.
There is the 27th head coach at LSU, Mike Archer. 2nd and 7. Sammy Martin dances down close to the 6-yard line. Corrington again, another tackle. That's 5 tackles for the All-America candidate out of College Station, Texas.
A&M doesn't know which way to look here defensively. They have to read their keys and just go with it. Play the percentages. Good block. Overrun there by the defender. And now Martin with the great speed, cutting ability. He gave him fits last year, and he's doing it again there inside the 10-yard line, almost to the 5.
Good time for play action with Tom Hodson at quarterback, the sophomore with sprint out ability. Instead, they go right up front to Victor Jones, and he cracks it inside the 5.
They're running behind Andelsek and Ubix. Ubix was a question mark. Andelsek is not. The guy blocks out the sun. He's a monster, 275 pounds. Some say he's the 2nd best in the nation. In the left corner of your screen, 76.
Interesting, Kevin, that LSU doing what the Aggies had hoped to do, a long, sustained drive, keep the ball away from the opponent. 3:15 left to go in this first quarter. Double tight end, Alberton, Kinchin, Fuller, and Jones in the backfield. Victor Jones stacked up in the center.
When you get this close, your defense changes. It actually becomes a lot simpler to play defense when you're this close, when you're backed up this close to your goal line. Responsibilities are the defensive linemen just bury themselves, don't give any ground. The safeties and linebackers read the backfield and come as hard as you can. Try and catch that guy in the air if he jumps. You will have to jump, anticipating his jump from the offensive backfield.
Jones and Fuller stay in. This is the 13th play of this drive. Touchdown, LSU, Victor Jones. Blocking up front by number 56, Albergamo, and Andelsek, 76 on the right side. Victor Jones cracks it in. 2:23 left in the first quarter.
No mystery about this one. Where else would you go? Albergamo and Andelsek. Victor Jones is only 5'9", but but he's 198 pounds, and watch what happens. They don't get a frontal shot at him, just a side shot. Jones spins off into the end zone. A great drive by LSU and a lot of firepower.
Out of the hold of Leonard Valentine, David Brownke. A 13-play drive, capped off with a 1-yard dive by Victor Downs. Jones over the right side. And LSU, they won a year ago. They take a 7-0 lead over the Aggies. They used up almost 7 minutes on the clock. 13 plays, 73 yards. Blocking up front, Victor Jones, a 1-yard dive. The Tigers, victorious last year when they upset the Aggies, take a 7-0 lead. Keep in mind, the Texas A&M has won 14 in a row here at Kyle Field.
One of the real subtle differences in the defense when you have a younger defense is that the mature guys, the seniors, the year before, could sit and play the defense. A&M is moving around a lot, and they're getting hit on big plays.
Ronnie Lewis all set to bang it away, and back deep for Texas A&M near the 4-yard line. That is Harry Johnson, number 21, and number 1 is Washington. Washington rammed into at the 4.
You need to be very clear on the kickoff team who's going to catch the ball for obvious reasons. Your team has their back to you, and if you fumble this thing or run into each other, this is what could happen.
2.5 left to go in a scoreless first quarter for the Aggies. The Bengals lead 7-0. Along with Kevin Kiley, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Kyle Field here in College Station, Texas. 2.5 left to go. The Aggies on the short end, 7-0. Stump stays in at quarterback. Harris and Waddle are the wide receivers. Morgan is the tight end. The backs are Melvin Collins, 32. Keith Woodside, 33. Woodside, big hole. To the 13-yard line. Wilson and McGuire on the blocking. Chris Carrier, the senior, 6'4", 208. A big fellow for the weak side safety made the hit.
Jackie Sherrill told us the key to the game, center Matt Wilson, his ability to move people off the line. There you see it, number 50 doing just that, and Woodside with room to run. First down, extremely important for both teams. 9 yards for A&M on that.
Big first down run. It's second down, spotted just outside the 18-yard line. Stump looks over that LSU defense. Gives to Matt Gurley out of Arlington, Texas. He spins up near the 29-yard line in the grasp of Nicky Hazard.
A lot of players have more talent than Gurley. Jackie himself calls him a journeyman fullback. And he journeyed right into the starting position on a team that has running backs lined up probably 10 deep. This guy is playing, and you saw why. Quick reaction, very tough, and an excellent blocker. He picked up the first down.
Aggies needed to get it out. This drive got the line. And now with the clock winding down, Stump wisely takes a timeout. So with 1:33 left to go in this first quarter, a 1-yard touchdown run. That's the difference. Tigers by 7. Other scores going on tonight. Florida State a 14-point lead. They're still at the half. 14th ranked Florida State. Colorado State having their hands full with Tennessee. Maryland, there's a surprise. In the second quarter, losing big to Syracuse. And how about James Madison?
How about James? Old Jim Madison doing a good job there. NC State losing in a surprise to East Carolina. Now, State had a big year last year, and they're losing early.
Line of scrimmage, the 23-yard line of the Aggies. Slotted out to the right. Waddle and Harris. Woodside, the lone running back, as Stump bends in. Woodside. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage in the grasp of Greg Jackson out of Miami, Florida. The junior, 6'1", 195, 62 tackles last year.
Last year, A&M ran out of that single back 90% of the time. This year, they say with Stump, they wanted to go to about 70%. Jackson did a great job of stringing it out, making Woodside go laterally, and stopped them for a short gain.
Second down and 10. Matt Gurley is the lone running back. Woodside gets a rest. Slot to the left. Harris and Waddle. Gurley goes down at the 25. The Tigers with that swarming, aggressive defense. Darren Marlborough, the senior, out of Metairie, Louisiana, 6'1", 220 on the stop.
The thing about the single back formation is you have to make it work without the blocker in the backfield. That means at the point of attack, you have to get the blocks. If you don't, everybody on the defense is able to read that one back. They chase him down. If there's no hole, obviously, they stop. So your lineman and your H-back with slots, you've got to make them work.
Number 70 checks in. Kevin Flint James, the sophomore from New Orleans, at right defensive end. The Aggies 41. Waddle, who was turning inside.
Percy Waddle was there. Craig Stump had great protection, and that bodes well for A&M as they go through this game. This ball is simply misfired, thrown behind him. Stump is the starter now. He's expected to do better than that. He's going to have to hit those guys.
Sean Wilson, and what he has done so far tonight. Jimmy Young is number 5. He is back deep for LSU, and the Tigers almost blocked that punt. Wilson went down, no flag, and Young fields the ball at the 38-yard line. A 39-yard kick with just 6 seconds left in the first quarter.
Sean Wilson, Gerald Wilson's son. Gerald Wilson, member, Kansas City Chiefs. Jackie Sherrill said he had no problem putting this kid in pressure situations, that he could get the ball off. There's living proof. Not by much, but he got it off. Just a freshman, his second punt of his career, and a good one under pressure.
Under pressure from Darrell Phillips, the nose guard, number 62 out of Franklin, Louisiana. How about the nose guard getting in on the punter? Breakdown in the interior line. Hodson at quarterback. Motion, top of the screen. And the pitch back to Harvey Williams. Dives across the 40 up near the 42-yard line. You're surprised how well LSU is running the ball. I am, because I heard that the linebackers here, although they lacked a little bit of experience, were pretty good players. I think they're getting confused out there. They're not getting the fill on the inside. They had good play at the corner there, but the inside backers aren't getting to the hole. That's the end of the first quarter with the Tigers leading the Aggies 7-0. ESPN continues in a moment. Tigers lead the Aggies by 7, and the junior gunslinger has replaced the sophomore Mickey Guidry, number 10, right there, 6'2", 198 out of Gretna, Louisiana, has replaced the super sophomore Tommy Hodson. Now, Hodson is not hurt. He has not had a subpar performance. This is all part of Mike Archer's game plan.
Well, one of those touchdowns was last year in this game, a 66-yarder to Martin.
Slot to the right with McGee and Davis. McGee in motion. Meanwhile, Guidry unloads, and he's got Davis out of bounds. How about storyline, College Station, Texas? Well, the LSU scoring drive lasted almost 7 minutes. 11 plays on the ground, Kevin, only 2 passes.
And that's an excellent story. We talked about him coming in and what a great passing team they were. And Hodson, all the credentials in the world through the air. But we also said they needed to establish the rush they have early in this game with Williams, 47 yards. And that is not a good statistic for A&M.
Backs are split. Egloff, 36. Harvey Williams, 22. Moss checks in, replacing McGee. Guidry almost got sacked. Aaron Wallace, the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas, the outside linebacker, and Guidry didn't see him.
Wallace had 5 quarterback sacks last year as a reserve. He's one of those big play guys. Look at Jackie. Jackie's excited. He knows he has him on the ropes here. He wants to get some field position. Wallace from the back. Guidry, let me tell you something about Guidry. The first 2 plays I've ever seen him, he's locked onto a receiver. As soon as he got the ball from center, kept his head and his eyes right on him. That's going to be a problem. Somebody's going to pick one off later in the game if he does that.
There's Matt DeFrank, the senior out of Walton Beach, Florida. And back deep for A&M, Rod Harris, number 17, who's also a wide receiver. 10:50 and counting left to go in a scoreless first half. It's a a towering kick. A beautiful kick by DeFrank. Bangs it into the end zone. A 57-yard spiral. So the Aggies come back 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, down by 7. 14:42 left to go before halftime. Scores and highlights coming up at half with Tim Brandover. Right now, Duke leading Colgate. No problem at the intermission. Mississippi State on top over Southwest Louisiana. South Carolina by a touchdown against Appalachian State. And Furman beating South Carolina State by 8 at the half. Tulane by 17 over Louisville. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Gurley and Collins now are the running backs in the I-Pro set. Gurley is the fullback. The tailback is Collins. And the Aggies might have taken too much time.
It's part of a factor of all those new people. Procedure, dead ball, false start on the offense. All those new people, and especially remember how much of the offense, consider how much of the offense really was involved when Murray, Bernstein, and Vick left this team. And those are 3 guys that they were sure they were going to go to on about 90% of the plays. all that has changed, and they have to develop new places to go and people to depend on, and that's slowing A&M down.
1st and 15. Slot to the left with Waddle and Harris. Lewis and Gurley are the running backs. It goes to the tailback, Darren Lewis, the freshman, and he explodes up to the 25-yard line. Nicky Hazard, number 48, the senior from New Orleans. Kevin, you were talking about those injuries.
Well, I think this speaks for itself. I was talking about the people that they replaced. Kevin Murray, 2,348 yards. Vic, 960. And Bernstein, a great receiver, 4,000 yards. The total was 4,800. You can see what they took out of this offense. The guts, but not the heart. A&M's program, I think, is centered around the structure, the student body, and these guys will come back. Lewis, by the way, gained almost 18 yards in high school, and he's a guy they're looking to replace Vic with.
2nd down and 5. Spotted at the 25 of the Aggies. Stump sprints out to the right. Fires on a rope. It's picked off by LSU. Inside the 30, down near the 25 goes Willie Bryant. Willie Bryant out of Fort Walton Beach. 6'1", 165. One interception last year. A key interception for the Tigers.
Coverage was there all the way. Stump should not have thrown this ball. Now, they said before the game, we talked to the coaches, they wanted to pick on Bryant a little bit. Now, this ball shouldn't have been thrown. See, he threw it to the wrong man. The inside man is open. The coverage by Bryant is excellent, but he was throwing the ball. It came right to him. Now, Stump looking, just doesn't see the defender for some reason, and LSU with a big opportunity.
Tommy Hodgson, number 13, back in at quarterback. Fires over the middle, and he's got his man, Brian Kinchin, number 49, the tight end. Jackson and Torrington on the coverage, but Hodgson came in and put that one on the money.
One of the things that A&M said, we cannot turn the ball over. Remember last year, all the turnovers. We cannot turn the ball over around the 25-yard line to LSU. They're too good. They'll punch it right in. And they went right after him. Pass on 1st down. Hodgson to Kinchin, who's an excellent receiver. All of these guys are excellent receivers.
Spotted just outside the 11-yard line. Moss and Davis wide at the top of your screen. Motion as Moss comes toward you. Handoff goes to Eddie Fuller. Eddie Fuller dances down to the 1. Kip Corrington saved a touchdown. 1st and goal for LSU.
Inside linebacking has been a problem. Now O'Brien, the nose guard, has to hold his ground, but he has to get support on those 2 holes on either side of him. O'Brien there, he's taking a gap. Inside linebacker Jackson overruns the play, has to sit home and wait for the cutback. He didn't do it, and these runners are just too good. Fuller cutting inside, making it down to the 2.
12:55 left to go before halftime. 3 tight ends, Kinchin, Halbert, and Williams. Touchdown Tigers. Victor Jones, his 2nd of the night. Blocking on that left side by Ralph Norwood, 78 out of New Orleans, by Rodriguez. Of course, by Nacho Albergamo, the center. And Victor Jones just kept those knees turning.
Watch number 80, Raji McGee. A motion man, making the block, getting in the way, and then the little guy, just 5'9", 198 pounds, Victor Jones goes in.
David Browndyke out of Leonard Valentine's hold makes the point after good. And with 12:47 left to go, the Tigers have taken a commanding 14-0 lead over the Aggies here at Kyle Field. Tonight's CFA football is brought to you by Jeep. There's a feeling you can get only in a Jeep. By Holiday Inn Hotels. If you're a winner, we're on your way. And by Olympic Stains, protecting the American dream for over half a century. Along with Kevin Kiley, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Kyle Field here in College Station, Texas. A good game. 10th-ranked LSU up against the Aggies of Texas A&M. It's 14-0. The Tigers on top. Dominating so far the offensive line of LSU. Anthony Taylor watches it sail 9 yards deep in the end zone. Kevin, how about that scoring drive?
It was a short one, 3 plays, 23 yards. Important to note the first play was a pass, and then they pounded it in. The turnover that set it up, of course, Stump throwing the interception, something that A&M cannot afford. These young guys for A&M offensively and defensively need experience, and they have to get it quick in this game or they're going to be in big trouble. 14-0 already. They've got to get something offensively going.
Some of the Tiger fans who have come over from Baton Rouge, of course, last year, A&M went in as a favorite, and the Tigers upset Texas A&M.
Jackie getting a little bit of trouble here. He's got Pavlich on the bench, a highly touted quarterback, and Stump not playing well. He's got to make a decision.
Stump bends in. Out of the I-Pro set, Gurley goes in motion. Stump, quarterback option down the line. Up near the 30, Kevin Gidry, the senior, 6'1", 185 pounds. Started at cornerback as a sophomore.
Gidry had 2 interceptions in last year's games. Now, they're doing a little bit differently with Stump here. They're using a little bit more of their offense. Kevin Murray had a real bad ankle, and he was basically a stationary quarterback with a good arm. Stump can do those things, and that's something maybe they need to go to. Spread that offense out, spread the defense out by doing that. Get Stump into the game.
Taylor and Harris, top of your screen on 1st and 10 from the 30 of A&M. Collins and Lewis are the new running backs. Lewis, second man through. Penalty flag is down, and so is Lewis. Lewis with blocking up front by Cheek and McGuire and Wilson. Eric Hill, 54, the junior out of Galveston, 6'2", 245. On the tackle, a flag to be checked out.
Holding. It'll be holding on A&M. Mistakes for A&M. Again, a young team, well drilled. But their offensive line, truthfully, they had some injuries in camp, and their offensive line did not get together until late in camp, and that can be a problem. Cohesiveness, some of these guys maybe getting beat a little bit and going to the holding. Penalties, LSU's got 2 for 10. A&M is 2 for 15.
And Stump has a problem. He's looking now at 1st and 20.
First thing when you say in the huddle defensively is screen and draw, screen and draw. It's a safe play for the offense, but potential for a big chunky yard.
Taylor and Harris wide to the top of your screen. Lewis and Collins are the running backs. Pitch back. Lewis, the freshman. The knee went down at the 20-yard line. Eric Hill again out of Galveston on the stop.
Hill had an Achilles tendon problem, was doubtful for this game, upgraded just before the game started, did an unbelievable job of playing off the block, stringing it out, and making the tackle. He's an important part of this team.
2nd down and 21. The Aggies digging a big hole. 11:25 left in the first half.
Again, screen and draw, screen and draw. Last thing you hear when you leave the huddle. You always check that offensive back. Wait for the quarterback to pass him before you go back and pass coverage.
Keith Woodsock checks back in. 33 along with Melvin Collins, 32. This is Melvin Collins out of Temple, Texas. Ron Sancho, number 52, the junior for LSU on the stop. Rutgers and Cincinnati tied up at the half. Eastern Michigan taking the lead over Youngstown State, Ron Jaworski's old school. Oklahoma State by 12 against Tulsa in the 2nd quarter. Lamar leading Rice, no problem by 11 at the half. And Fresno State on the short end by 17 to Washington State. More scores and highlights coming up at the half with Tim Brando. Our score here, the Tigers 14, the Aggies nothing. Woodside now, 4 rushes, 17 yards. 3rd and 11 for A&M. Stump, safety valves it out, gets it to Collins. Collins needs a bunch, hurls up near the 38. That will be about a yard shy of 1st down yardage, and the senior, number 90, Darren Marlborough on the stop.
Good job by the Tigers defensively. They ran the draw the play before that. That was a quick flare, just like a screen. They kept it in front of them, gave them some yardage, but not enough to get the 1st down.
Sean Wilson is your punter, the freshman out of Huntsville, Texas, redshirted last year. Hanks it high, but it's a wobbly kick off the side of his foot. Hits at the 43 and goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So that's the spot. 1st and 10 LSU. When we come back, a 22-yard punt. Tigers big over A&M. Along with Kevin Kiley, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back. LSU by 14 over Texas A&M, but a long way to go. The Aggies looking for revenge, and both teams ranked number 10. Big battle to be said. Both teams won their conferences last year. Both teams had full bids. Gives it to Sam Martin, who scurries around the right side, almost broke it big. Up near midfield, Dana Batiste on the stop, the junior out of Spring, Texas.
Great athletic ability at linebacker is not enough. One of the things you have to do is not get caught inside. Moving around, caught inside. Look at Batiste as he gets caught. He's too far in there. By the time he gets into the pursuit, number 53, that was Basil Jackson, not Batiste, but he's jumping around. He needs to sit and read. When he gets caught inside, he cannot get outside.
Leonard Valentine, number 19, checks in at quarterback now. He's in its slot. Handoff goes to Eddie Fuller. Valentine Valentine is a freshman, a redshirt in '86, who led the gold team to a win over the purple team in the spring game for LSU. So they had two quarterbacks in, Hodson and Valentine.
And there's going to be a holding call on LSU on this play. That's going to
Holding off the run.
Next week, Kevin and I will be out in Nebraska. What a showdown so early in the season. Tom Osborne and his Cornhuskers, ranked number 2, taking on the 4th-ranked UCLA Bruins.
There's an interesting story in that day. Aikman, the quarterback for UCLA, started for Oklahoma 2 years ago, was injured and then transferred. He'll be coming back to the Big 8 as a Bruin.
And note the unusual start time, so you can plan your Saturday 5 o'clock Eastern time, right here on ESPN, your home for college football. Woodson has found a home in the grasp of John Roper, number 83, the junior out of Houston, Texas. Roper 6'2", 215. His sister Donna is a guard on the A&M lady basketball team, a loss of 9.
Roper coming from that left side. Now they say this kid is going to be a great athlete, and he is. So fast, quarterback could not even react right over the offensive line of LSU. John Roper from Houston. That was a big play for A&M, something that they needed. The difference between the A&M defense this year is they don't have that experience. They can't sit. They've got to move around a little bit on the defensive line and take big chances. That time it paid off.
How many 2nd and 29 plays do you have? Loose football. The Aggies have it. Terrence Brooks, the senior out of Dallas, Texas. They call him Chet. They'll give him a game ball if the Aggies can score now inside the 35. He had 13 tackles last year against LSU. Watch number 27 fall on the loose football.
It was the exchange, Albergamo to Hodson. He never had it. The ball gets kicked. Brooks is the first one there. Brooks is a player, an opportunistic player, a great blitz player, great reactions. He has it there. He picks it up. The defense maybe ignites A&M here.
Stump stays in at quarterback, the best field position of the night for Texas A&M. Feeds Woodside down to the 25. He slithers for 6. It's 2nd down and 4. Lots of time left for A&M. They're still just 2 plays out of getting back into this game. 7:50 and counting left to go before halftime. And at the half, Tim Brando with scores and highlights. A big day around college football.
Loss for A&M. Their left guard, McGuire, is out with a neck injury. He will not return. He's gone for x-rays. Going to start it for 2 years.
Woodside lines up the slot now to the left side. Dives. Gurley, nothing doing. Darrell Phillips, 62. Mickey Hazard, 48. And Darren Marlborough, number 90.
One of the things that has changed with Murray leaving in the A&M offense is they do not have the big play capability they had before. Murray stood there and just rifled the ball downfield. And what Jackie Sherrill told us yesterday is that they cannot get into a shootout. Well, folks, they're in a shootout. And they're going to have to open it up if they're going to get in the end zone. LSU schooled too well defensively. They're going to have to break something a little bit longer than the run.
Stump looks now at 3rd and 3. Matt Gurley dives near the 20, and that should be an Aggie first down. Ron Sancho, the junior out of Avondale, Louisiana, 6'3", 225, upended Gurley out of the backfield, helped out by Kevin Guidry.
If LSU is anything, they're quick, and they know how to string it out. Look at the option now. Look at all the yellow hats coming out here. Gurley is a fullback, not a scat back, not a halfback. A fullback does not have great cutting ability, and it cost him on that play. He couldn't stop and go back, and LSU was there.
1st and 10, Texas A&M. Top of the screen, Rod Harris. At the bottom, Percy Waddle. Intercepted by LSU. Darrell Phillips, the nose tackle. The ball was batted loose at the line of scrimmage. And the native of Franklin, Louisiana, the big junior, 6'2", 245. Watch Sancho. 52 will deflect the ball, and 62 will catch it.
Okay, now one thing you have to do on a short drop, a 2-step drop, the offensive linemen have got to cut the defensive linemen. A&M did not do that. See, he was standing up, had his arms up. Stump took a short drop. Phillips comes up with the ball. Technique dictates on a short 2-step drop, you cut those guys down. Don't let them get their hands up.
stump now, 1 for 4, 2 interceptions. Harvey Williams dances up to the 25-yard line. Inside of 6 minutes when the ball is snapped on the next play. Harvey Williams, the young sophomore, in the grasp of Terrence Chet Brooks, the senior from Dallas.
Don't let the offensive back get his shoulders square. That's been a problem for A&M here early in this game. You get these little quick guys, they get their shoulders square, they can go right or left. What they did there, they kept him going outside so that he had to go outside, and the inside pursuit was able to catch up with him. It was good defense.
And he cleared the line, had 30 yards of open field. Dana Batiste, the junior from Spring, Texas.
Great job by Batiste, just sitting in there, did exactly what he was supposed to do. He read pass, he dropped back a little bit, kept his eyes on it, was able to come up and make the play on Hodgson. And you're right, Jim, had he got past Batiste, he was gone for a big one. A&M defense starting to come alive here. Now they've got LSU in a 3rd and long. That's where they want him to bring their nickel in. Lots of defensive backs here.
Wendell Davis. That should be very close to a first down. While we check it out, let's check out the scores with Tim Brendo. How's Texas Tech and Florida State doing, Timmy?
Wild and woolly, Jim Kelly. Let's take a look as Dane Williams, as we get play underway in the 3rd quarter, cracks in from 3 yards away, and Florida State has extended their lead over Texas Tech by a score of 37-16 in the 3rd. Let's get back now to College Station.
Where the LSU Tigers, Tim, have a 1st and 10 at their own 35. They've got a 14-point lead. Tony Moss in motion. Harvey Williams dances and stutter steps up near the 40-yard line. Basil Jackson on the stop. Basil Jackson having a great first half here defensively for Texas A&M. Poised to move into a starting role after playing behind Larry Kelm for the past 2 years. 14 tackles last year, 1 tip pass.
When you get to be a starter as a linebacker, you have so much nervous energy that early in your first game you will overrun things. You can't wait to get to the point of attack and forget what you're supposed to do just to get at the guy.
2nd and 6. Slot to the right. Davis and Moss. Aggie showing blitz. Hodgson might have called an audible. Does. Dive play. Victor Jones with 2 touchdown dives already. Cracks it over the 40 up near the 42. Dana Batiste again on the stop.
Broom, O'Brien, and Price are having a tough time with Nacho Albergamo and Andelsek. Andelsek and Albergamo doing a super job inside for LSU. They're controlling that line of scrimmage, and LSU is able to keep their offense balanced.
Nacho, by the way, is not his given name, but it's obvious what his penchant for snacks is, and not pizza.
Ignacio is his given name.
3:15 before halftime. Double slot. Hodgson gets sacked. John Roper.
And he beat Andelsek. He beat him like a drum on the right corner, went right by Andelsek.
And he cracked his head open. You can see the blood coming gushing out on John Roper. Being helped off by the medical staff of the Aggies.
This is a picture hit, and you'll see probably why he cut it. That's not uncommon for a linebacker to cut that part of his head. The top of his helmet must have come up. When you see this hit, watch where he puts his head. This is a picture hit. He's probably going to get it. See that? See that hit right there? He might have got part of the face mask on the side there from Hodgson up underneath his own helmet.
Matt DeFrank, the senior from Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Rod Harris is back deep for A&M. The Aggies with lots of time. 2:40 before halftime. They almost blocked that punt. Rod Harris fields at the 20, dances, and will stop the clock out of bounds at the 24. That's where the Aggies will start when we come back. A 46-yard punt, a 5-yard return. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. The Aggies on the short end, and there is the freshman quarterback, Lance Pavlis, out of Tomball, Texas, redshirted in '86. And he is in now because the senior, Craig Stump, 1 for 4 with 2 interceptions. So with 2.5 to go, the freshman comes in and will try to ignite the Texas A&M Aggies. Woodside and Gurley in the backfield. And it's Keith Woodside side, the senior in the grasp of Ron Sancho, number 52.
Pavlis, obviously, I think if you're playing defensive experience, you say it was a new quarterback, it's an I formation. They run 82% out of an I formation. It's a 25-yard line, their own 25-yard line. You play run. What they're trying to do is get Pavlis, just get his hands on the ball. He has great talent, this guy.
He was regarded as the Texas top quarterback in high school after leading his team to consecutive Class 4A titles. He passed for over 1,600 yards. First pass as an Aggie. What a collision at the 31. Wally Hartley, the sophomore from Baton Rouge. He was redshirted in '85. Eric Hill, the intended receiver.
There's the difference right away. This ball is rifled. It's right on the mark. The defense is there. Hill making a great play, but you can see what kind of talent that guy has at quarterback. Eric Hill, I told you earlier, had an Achilles tendon. He was not probable for the game until just before game time. Seems like he's healed. What do you think, Jim?
I would say so. Oliver, 87, checks in at wideout. He comes to the near side now for the Aggies. And Mr. Pavlis needs a first down. 3rd and 8. Harris motion top of the screen. Sacked by Eric Hill. 2 great plays back-to-back. The junior out of Galveston. 49 tackles last year.
There really wasn't anybody open on this play. The play was slow developing in the backfield. And Pavlis does exactly as he should. He's in the pocket. And Hill is on him before he can even make a decision. And there wasn't anybody open. I was looking at the receivers, and he just had to eat the ball.
1:33 left to go before halftime. It's been all LSU. Aggies on the short end, and they'll have to punt when we come back. On 4th and 14 from their own 21, the Aggies will punt. Sean Wilson, the son of the Kansas City Chiefs great punter, Gerald Wilson, back to do the punting. It's been a busy night. And Jimmy Young, number 5, standing back at his own 40-yard line. He gets a line drive kick. Hits at the 48-yard line and is finally down at the 46. Well, we've got 82 seconds before halftime. Tim Brando, what's coming up in intermission?
A lot of scores and a lot of highlights as we have a Saturday night filled with college football, Jim Kelly. It should be an outstanding halftime scoreboard. The MetLife halftime scoreboard will also include a live conversation in Ann Arbor with Bo Schembechler, the coach of the Michigan Wolverines, and Bino Cook will join me as well. Let's get back now to Jim and Kevin Kiley.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. It should be very interesting to hear what the head coach of Michigan Wolverines has to say at halftime. We've got action all over the field and a dive play. Harvey Williams scampers up the middle, blocking up front by 79, Jim Hubicks.
We talked about first down being a key for LSU. It has been the difference in this game. They've had A&M off balance on almost every series.
Hurry-up offense now. Less than a minute to go before halftime. Hodgson backpedals, looks to the sideline, fires on a rope, deflected at the 37-yard line. Fired that one into double coverage, looking for his favorite receiver, Wendell Davis. Tony Jones, the junior out of Houston, was back there on the coverage.
That's a nice play by Jones. Now, Hodgson has a reputation for trying to force the ball into Wendell Davis because Davis makes such great adjustments and can catch the ball. They say he did it all year last year and got away with it. And Davis's stats and Hodgson's stats will back that up, but you can get in trouble against great defensive teams forcing the ball.
Davis to the near side, lost to the far side. Victor Jones with 2 touchdown carries, stopped at the 45. Dana Batiste, the first to arrive for the Aggies, helped out by Basil Jackson.
There's no surprise there. They went right behind Albergamo and Andelsek again. And they're going to measure this thing. But again, if you're playing defense, you have to expect that, and you do gamble.
.48 seconds left in the first half. 2 touchdown carries by Victor Jones. The first drive for LSU used up almost 7 minutes. The second drive was only 3 plays, 23 yards.
They've got about 6 inches.
Well, now, what would you do? Would you go for it? You're leading 14-0. Your defense has been in complete control.
If I was at LSU, I would go for this.
I would, too.
The fact that if I was at LSU, that was that bad news. The fact that I'm here, they're going to go for it, but I would not go for it.
And now, Hodgson Hudson decides to talk things over with the youngest head coach in Division I. So Mike Archer and the brain trust of the Tigers will have a little confab. We'll take time out and come back to Kyle Field. What a showdown for our third game of the season here on ESPN. UCLA running back Gaston Green could stake an early claim on the Heisman with a big game against that rugged Cornhusker defense. Nebraska, of course, a good rushing game of its own with high-back Keith Jones. That unusual start time, 5 o'clock live on ESPN. 4th and 6 inches. Tigers get a first down. Victor Jones around that right side, and Terrence Chet Brooks submarined him down low.
But not before Andelsak and Nacho Albergamo were able to make it. Andelsak, as I said, is a mountain of a guy. He weighs 275 pounds, the strongest guy on the team, number 76. And he just blows him out. All you need is a little bit of movement to get a first down on that.
30 seconds to go. Hodgson backpedals, flood to the left. Man is wide open. Wendell Davis. Bumped out by Tony Jones.
Going to be a penalty on LSU. They're going to bring it back. He got single coverage on Davis, and there wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him.
A 16-yard reception nullified.
This is man-to-man coverage on Davis, exactly what you don't want to have happen. And Hodgson turns around and he's greeted by a yellow flag. That was Jones trying to cover him, and he did what I would do. He gave him plenty of room and hoped that the pressure would get to Hodgson before he had to come up. It didn't, but we got a penalty.
A very costly penalty, because instead of being 1st and 10 at the 28, it's now 1st and 20 at the 47, their own 47. Quick feet of Hodgson. Hodgson thought the receiver was turning inside. That was Tony Moss, sophomore, and Tony Jones back there. Boy, they're really working over Jones.
Yeah, well, that's to be expected. Now, Chet Brooks was a corner last year, but he was out of the play too much. On the corner, you don't get any action the way a safety does, and the guy's such a great player, they moved him into a safety position. Chet Brooks, number 27, because they wanted to take advantage of him, and in doing so, they had to vacate the corner position and bring a young, inexperienced kid in. LSU knows that, and they're going after him.
2nd down and 20 for Tommy Hodgson, the sophomore out of Matthews, Louisiana. He audibleizes now. You see the time left in the first half. No flags. That's Wendell Davis, and had he gotten 3, it was 6. Hits Mickey Washington around the ankles. Rips his shoe off.
Well, again, he audibleized. You called it, Jim, and he knew it was single coverage. He went right to Wendell Davis. Here comes Brooks. Now, that means they have to go to a man coverage, and Hodgson goes right to the sideline and gets Wendell Davis. See the quick drop? Lets it go, and here's your single coverage over here, and that's a pretty good hit.
LSU.
Mickey Washington, excuse me, that was Mickey Washington, converted wide receiver, making the hit on there, and a pretty good play by Hodgson, the young guy showing how he can read defenses.
You remember when John Roper left the game and his forehead looked like a water hydrant? Blood was gushing out. John Roper, number 83, is back in the lineup now, defensively for the Aggies.
So I told you that was not unusual to have an injury like that as a linebacker. It's that skin up on your forehead there is very thin, and it will split, and you see a lot of blood. But hey, he's a linebacker. You know, linebackers don't stay out with that type of thing.
We've got 6 seconds left to go, and apparently are going to see a 60-yard try for a field goal. Ron Lewis, the senior from New Orleans, 5 out of 8 in the field goal department. His longest, 46 yards last year. The holder will be Leonard Valentine. Ron Lewis will attempt a 60-yard field goal. It is on its way, and it is no good. Time has run out of the first half. It's been all LSU. Victor Jones with 2 touchdown dives. Mike Archer, the youngest coach in Division I, just 34 years of age, 30 minutes away from victory number 1. For halftime, let's go back to the studio and rejoin our host, Tim Brando.
Tonight's CFA College Football Halftime Report has been brought to you by Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get net. It pays.
We'll have to apologize to our Beano fans. He's got a scoop for us, but it'll have to wait until game day, 11:30 Eastern time next week, as we prepare you for UCLA and Nebraska. I know this. He does feel it's a little interesting that we haven't had an upset to this point. Texas A&M And LSU, that may be one. Let's go back out for perhaps a mild upset to Kevin Kiley and Jim Kelly.
Well, mild in the sense, I guess, Timmy, that the Aggies have won 14 in a row at home here at Kyle Field. Welcome back, everybody. My colleague Kevin Kiley is alongside. I guess a little surprised at the score. You like the Aggies a little bit tonight.
I did. I thought they would win in a close game, but I think the loss of Trace McGuire has upset the offensive line, and the Aggies were looking for the offensive line to dominate. They haven't. They haven't been able to control the ball, and thus LSU is out in front.
All right, Wednesday night at BYU, you came up with some of the Cougar offensive linemen, maybe tipping the play to the Pitt defenders a little bit. What do you have for us tonight in the way of dancing metacarpals and metatarsals?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the music is. Hudson, the great quarterback, the sophomore quarterback for LSU, he reads blitzes very well, and there's a lot of things that go into that, reading safeties, reading alignment. One of the things is being able to read stance of the linebacker. Now, this is Wallace on the run, stable, not moving. Now, let me show you what he does on a blitz. Now, Aaron Wallace, the quarterback is not only reading safeties, but he'll be reading the hands, the feet, and the knees just before the play. Watch Wallace's hands. They were not moving against the run. Look at the fingers going, and the knees are straighter, meaning he's in a get-ready-to-go position. Look at the fingers. See, the fingers will tip it off every time. Quarterback reads not only alignment, but he'll read those knees and those hands. So, linebackers, when you're out there, don't move those fingers.
All right, we're at halftime. It's 14-0. The Tigers on top over the Aggies. Both are ranked number 10. Lots of time left for the Aggies, though, so don't go away. The second half kickoff is coming up. Welcome back to Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. Our score, the Tigers 14, the Aggies nothing. And there is Scott Slater, the junior out of Fort Worth, to kick to either Eddie Fuller, 33, or Sam Martin, 23. It is Sam Martin. And he's got a convoy, and he's got explosive speed. Inside Aggie land at the Texas A&M 42. Upended by Ed Silverman. A 57-yard kickoff return. The first time that the 12th man has allowed an opponent to cross midfield.
There's a great block right there at the point of attack. Right there, two great blocks, and now it's all Sam Martin. This guy's been a pain. A 66-yard pass reception last year, and now giving him field position in the 12th man for the first time. They give up over the 50-yard line.
Harvey Williams, Victor Jones are the running backs. McGee in motion. Harvey Williams dances inside the 40 in the grasp of John Roper. How about in the first half? LSU on top 14-0. A big surprise, the disparity in the running game.
I think that indicates the loss of Trace McGuire. Also the number of plays, 41-21. A&M has not been able to control the ball, not sustain the running game. Stump did not have a good first half. 1 for 4, 2 interceptions. And I think that's been the difference. Trace McGuire proving to be a valuable player. The offensive line not getting it done for A&M.
6 defensive backs in there now for the Aggies. Morris, Corrington, Jones, Brooks, Washington, and Jones. Williams, 11 carries, 61 yards. Number 22 for LSU. Hudson. He's got Wendell Davis, and Wendell Davis has a first down inside the 30 of Texas A&M.
They have a special coverage on Wendell Davis. They call it Star Dog. And, you know, Davis is the star, not the dog. He's had 9 receptions. Part of the coverage is to bump him early. Not a great bump there, and then chase him. You're going to have to do a better job of bumping him and chasing him if you're going to stop this guy. That guy is just too strong and too good a receiver. That was Mickey Washington, a converted offensive receiver, trying to cover one of the great receivers.
There is what Wendell Davis has done. He moves into 3rd place. As you see him sitting on the bench being attended to. 3 catches, 29 yards tonight. There goes Harvey Williams dancing down at the 25-yard line. Chet Brooks on the stop, number 27. Speaking of Wendell Davis, do you know that he spent all summer looking at films of the Aggies in the Cotton Bowl game? He worked out on improving his physical conditioning and receiving techniques. And, of course, he worked out with his favorite quarterback, Tommy Hodson.
They say he's the type of kid. He's just a great kid, and his work habits are outstanding. He said his parents instilled those work habits in him.
He's at the top of your screen. 2nd and a long 6. Long count by Hodgson. Changes the call. Gives to Victor Jones. First down for LSU. Basil Jackson clogged the middle. The junior inside linebacker out of Hammond, Louisiana.
Linebackers have been a problem for A&M tonight. They're great athletes. They're terrific kids. They're going to be a super unit, but they're getting blown out a little bit up front. Ruffin Rodriguez was in the middle there. He did a great job with Albergamo. They cleaned it out, and they've been running pretty well up the middle for LSU all day.
LSU now 14 first down. This snap from the 18 of A&M. Play action fake by Hodson. In the end zone, no good. Davis, the intended receiver, but Hodson threw that away. And he was on his backside at the 30-yard line.
Great poise by Hodson. A lot of pressure by A&M. The defense has played very, very well. They get into poor field position to start, but they played well since the first quarter.
And Hodson read it. The receiver turned inside. The ball thrown outside. And the man putting pressure on that man, John Roper, 83, who cracked his head open in the first half.
Great defensive teams, when they get backed up, they'll go to the pressure. This team has tremendous speed. They can move around. Terrific athletes. The weakness is experience, and when they get their backs to the wall, they will go to the blitz, and they'll put a lot of people in here. They'll go with 5 or 6 defensive backs here. They'll cover some people, and they may go to the blitz and man coverage, and Hodson will have to read it.
3rd and 10. Jones and Martin on the back. Martin out on the pass pattern. Hodson fires in the end zone. Picked off by the Aggies. Kip Carrington, the All-America candidate. Alex Morris, number 30, putting pressure on Hodson. Watch Hodson. He's got pressure from Alex Morris for Texas A&M. The ball never should have been thrown.
Alex Morris, in regular defense, lines up as a corner. He was a strong backer there. Hodson under pressure, you're right. He throws away a field goal here, and look who's there. Kip Carrington, the honor student. Great position defensively. You see Morris now, he's a cornerback lined up as a strong linebacker inside. Receiver never had a chance. That was Martin Carrington making the play. Defense excellent for A&M.
And the senior signal caller comes back in for Texas A&M. Craig Stubb to Melvin Collins. First down, Texas A&M. Kevin Guidry, the senior out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, on the stop. And suddenly, after that interception by Carrington, the Aggies have come alive.
Strength of this team, A&M's team, is the offensive line. That is the unit that returned. They had only 1 new player coming into this game. They've lost McGuire, so they have 2, but they need to control the ball for Texas A&M to win this game.
Slot to the right, Harris and Waddle. Jumping offside is Keith Woodside, the senior from Valdolla, Louisiana.
The veteran, and that was going to be a pass. He was running a pass pattern at the H-back position.
Dead ball, all-star, offense.
That's demoralizing. When a veteran does that, it's expected from your new kids, but Woodside, who's so anxious to do well, he's been kind of playing in Roger Vick's shadow, and he just wants to get out there and make a play, and he hops offside.
Oliver, 87, checks in as wide receiver. He's at the bottom of your screen. At the top, Harris and Waddle. Stump had 2 picked off in the first half. Almost another there. Back in the coverage, Eric Hill.
Eric Hill, another player from LSU from Texas. He's from Galveston, supposedly a bad Achilles tendon, but he does exactly what a linebacker is supposed to do. Gets into coverage, reads the quarterback, and over to the sideline, trying to throw into the short hash and not getting it done. Stump kind of forced that one in.
2nd and 15. Line of scrimmage, the 27 of the Aggies. Waddle and Harris top of the screen. Double flood. Melvin Collins from Temple, Texas, who can bench press 400 pounds, and at 250 pounds can run the 40 in 4.4 in the grasp of Darrell Phillips.
It's going to be a penalty on A&M. You can't say enough for Phillips and Dunbar and Clapp. They replaced Carl Wilson, Roland Barbet, and Henry Thomas. All 3 of those all conference last year for
Offensive
LSU.
line.
It's going to be Matt Wilson, the center. Great center on Phillips. Phillips stands him up. And Wilson holds him and pushes him and gets called for it.
25. Jackie Sherrill, head coach, Texas A&M in his 6th season. Before that, 5 years at Pittsburgh, an assistant, of course, a graduate assistant at Alabama, member of 2 national championship teams, and head coach then, Paul Bear Bryant. 2nd and 25. Tailback, Keith Woodside, scampers 30, and near the 35-yard line, Ron Sancho brought him down. The explosive speed of the senior. 97 carries, 569 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging just under 6 yards per carry last year. His career average is just under 6 yards a carry, and that's what he's done tonight.
And he's a great receiver, and their receivers, Waddle and Woodside, have been very quiet. Expected big games from them. They've been very, very quiet. The passing game, very quiet for Texas A&M.
Woodside, 17 yards on that carry, 17 yards tonight before that scamper. Slot to the right, Waddle and Harris. Oliver wide to the left and wide open. Percy Waddle, first down for the Aggies. Loose football at the 40-yard line, and the LSU Tigers have got it. Willie Bryant, the senior out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, number 29, forced the fumble, and Kevin Guidry, number 27, came up with a loose ball. Jackie Sherrill said, wait a minute, I thought Waddle was whistled down.
Now, Waddle, we talked about him. He was quiet before this, but he made a lot of noise on this play. Number 15, very quick. Going for the extra yardage. Looks from that angle as if the ball hit the ground, and that's what knocked it loose. It would be a dead ball if that was the case. Official called it the other way. 1st and 10, LSU. They lead 14-0. Williams in motion. Hodson goes airborne on 1st and 10. Fires out on the flat, and he's got his man, Harvey Williams. Chet Brooks banging Williams out of bounds. Let's see if it was a fumble. Let's go back and take another look at this. Waddle, number 15. Is the ball down? No, it was not down. It was a fumble. Good call by the official. Waddle trying to keep his feet. You see what type of athlete that kid is. He ran a 45.8 in a 440 a couple of years ago. He's got world-class speed. If they can get him loose, he'll be a big playmaker.
2nd and 10 as Williams came down out of bounds. Sam Martin in the backfield. Hodson dumps it off to Tony Moss. Tony Moss inside the 45. Out of bounds at the 32-yard line of Texas A&M. Basil Jackson bumped him out. A 26-yard reception. Tony Moss, number 6, the sophomore.
The pass is there and plenty of time. They give him a little bit too much room here. And then the defender, Gary Jones, makes a mistake taking the inside. He should take the outside leverage on a receiver in the open field, because if he misses him, he forces him inside and back to his defense. He didn't do that, gave him the sideline, and Tony Moss, who you just saw there, got away.
Longest pass completion of the night for Tony Moss. He played tailback back in the spring. A little delay. Victor Jones loses the football. It was in the air, and it is recovered by LSU. The Aggie fans, 75,000 strong. Kip Florington came up with a loose football, but he's not protesting too much.
Nice play by Roper again. Remember, with the bad head. Watch him come. Watch how fast he comes to this play. Hits up there, forces him outside.
The knee was down.
That's a close one, but look at that one. LSU gets the last 2.
Back up.
2nd and 9 as Hodson bends in. Wendell Davis, Raji McGee. That's McGee, and McGee dives across the 25.
A lot of missed tackles in this game by A&M. They missed a lot of tackles on these receivers, and that's dangerous. McGee almost getting away for a touchdown there, Jay.
Corrington and Adam on the stop. Adam Bob, number 24, the junior out of Lafayette, Louisiana, 6'3" and 230. How about this? They scored their first 2 touchdowns in the first half by the running game. You get ahead 14-0. Now Mike Archer's gone to the air game. Eddie Fuller. Stopped at the 25. Alex Morris, the first Aggie to arrive.
There was that inside pursuit from A&M. Now they had a 3rd and very short. Instead of going behind Andelsek, who they have all game, they tried to go wide, and A&M was there.
And it brings up 4th down and an injury. Number 56 down for LSU. That's Nacho Albergamo, the senior center, 6'2", 257.
This was one of the fellows we talked to the offensive coaches, and he was one of the fellows that they said they could not afford to lose. Ed Zonbrecht said, if I lose Albergamo, I'm in trouble. He's off the field right now.
He bench presses 465 pounds, a pre-med major, carrying a 3.4 average, getting some medical attention of his own. Browndyke missed from 47, and this will be a 43-yard try out of the hole of Leonard Valentine. Snap, spot, kick, good. Tigers lead the Aggies 17-0. 8:16 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Let's take time out. The CFA on ESPN is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. By participating Lawn Boy dealers. And by Diet Coke. Enjoy Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it. 8:16 left to go. Close to 75,000 have jammed into Kyle Field. 45,000 were here last night with Kevin Kiley for yell practice.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did fine. I did fine. I finished in the middle of the pack.
Ronnie Lewis. Line drives it. Fielded by Mickey Washington. Washington dances across the 20, up across the 25, and down at the 28-yard line. A 16-yard return to the grass with Hebert, 45 for LSU. 5 plays, 34 yards. Browndyke with a 42-yard field goal, 17-0. Now, does that start to take Jackie Sherrill out of his game plan?
I think absolutely. He's not gotten any productivity out of the quarterback position. He's either going to have to go wide and try to run the option with Craig Stump, or he's going to have to bring the young kid Pavlis in the game and try to go downfield. Stump has not proven that he can go downfield at all.
Stump was 1 for 4 at the half with 2 interceptions. 1 for 3 in the second stanza. Harris comes in motion near side. Stump puts it up on 1st and 10. He's got Waddle. And Waddle's got an Aggie. 1st down at the 40. Kevin Guidry's got Waddle.
Great call. Now, Craig Stump's only 6 foot tall, and he's able to get the ball now over the rush. Good poise, and Waddle, who just fumbled the ball, it's a good call because they go right back to him. Look at Stump hanging in there, and they give this guy lots of room. He's real quick. Did the same thing he did when he fumbled it. No confidence lost there. He kept the ball. He kept his knee up off the ground. Good.
Waddle, 2 catches, 33 yards on the night. Stump can run. Down at the 48. He'll be about 3 yards shy of 1st down yardage. 7:35 left in the 3rd quarter.
And we talked about at the head of the show, the kids on this team believe in this guy. They respect him. He's waited 5 years. His early problems, if you will, and not moving the team will not affect the way the team feels about him, and they will get behind him and block for him. And this kid has some ability. He can run the ball. You just saw it. Not the athlete the backup is, but a great leader.
To the right. On the dive, Keith Woodside belted backward at the line of scrimmage, but very close. Up near midfield, Marlboro again. Darren Marlboro, the senior, out of Metairie, Louisiana, 6'1", 220. Last year's comeback player of the year, had an injured knee last year. 1st down for the Aggies to keep the drive alive. A big 1st down for Texas A&M.
A 1st down, and what they did, and they passed. They threw a pass on 1st down, then they came back with the running game, opened it up a little bit, confused LSU, went to the pass to set up the run. It's worked.
Motion by Rod Harris, backpedaling Stump. Out of the backfield, Woodside chopped down at the 40-yard line. Marlboro again on the tackle, the senior linebacker out of Metairie, Louisiana. Let's take another look.
Woodside is a great player. 5'11", 190 out of the H-back or slot position. They just hook him up, hit him with the ball, and now he's a runner. Last year, 52 catches for over 600 yards. A great receiver. Not much in the 1st half, but A&M now starting to establish their offensive pattern.
Over 2,000 yards in high school for Woodside. That 4.4 speed. Stump 3 for 4, 42 yards. Woodside on a dive, blocking up front by Kavanaugh by Cheek. And it's close. It is first down yardage again. The drive stays alive. Collins on the carry, number 32. Well, everything you wanted to know about racing in America and around the world tomorrow. 9.5 hours of coverage, unprecedented, starting at 8:20 in the morning. Race Day America, only here on ESPN. We can watch that at 8:20 when we get on the airplane, and they'll still be in coverage when we get back home.
Break out the popcorn. I'm ready for that.
First and 10, Texas A&M at the 37-yard line of LSU. Again, 3 straight stops for big number 90, the senior out of Matari.
And A&M is banging now. This is their offense. We talked about it at the half. Reestablish that offensive line and the running game. Wear them down. LSU against Nebraska last year in the Sugar Bowl. After the game, Mike Archer said, we have to get stronger. They were worn down in that game. They are not big and strong. They are big. They haven't been strong historically.
Getting there first, Oliver Lawrence out of Monroe, Louisiana, the junior, 6'1", 238.
Darren Lewis is one of 5 running backs recruited and gotten by A&M. They got Randy Simmons, Lewis, Larry Horton, Doug Carter, and Keith McAfee. All great high school running backs, all freshmen and all on the A&M roster this year. Simmons was named by some people as the #1 recruit in the country. He's got a knee injury. He will not play until later in the season.
Played for Paul Bear Bryant, coached under Paul Bear Bryant. Jackie Sherrill, double tight end, Wally Hartley and Sylvester Morgan in. 3rd and 2. First down and more for the freshman, Larry Horton. Darren Lewis, number 25.
A year ago, this kid was in high school. He's 5'11", 205 pounds. He has blazing speed. It's a pitch to the weak side, away from the tight end. Nobody there. Lewis trips, actually. Picks up good yardage. Just a freshman, and they've got a ton of them. This is the first sustained drive. He's got 6 carries, 33 yards from Dallas. He's happy.
First and 10 for the Aggies from the 20-yard line of LSU. Texas A&M's deepest penetration. Stump, drop at the 14-yard line for Percy Waddle, the sophomore. What a collision.
One thing A&M does not do, they will not throw across the hash marks to the sideline. And what that does, and what you saw there, they throw into the boundary a lot, and Stump has been forcing that pass all night. He will not turn the other way and throw an out pattern. So it cuts the field into 2/3. He doesn't have the far sideline to go to. That's their offensive philosophy, and it makes it a little bit difficult when you can only use 2/3 of the field to throw to that boundary.
Rod Harris wide to the left, Percy Waddle wide to the right. Back to Collins and Woodside. Stump over the middle. He's got Woodside, and Woodside's got an Aggie first down at the 7. Chris Carrier made the stop.
Stump, a leader. Had a bad first half. He's coming back. How do you make up for the tight end? Well, you've got Woodside in that H-back position. A little drop pattern right in the middle to Woodside, who's playing like a tight end. Picking it up. Another first down for A&M.
3:07 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Lots of time as Waddle, 15, and Harris, 17, are slotted out to the top of the screen. Woodside and Collins in the I pro set. Woodside behind Collins, blocking inside the 5, slashes down to the 4. Otherwise, tonight, game's still going on. UCLA, who we'll see next week, taking on 2nd-ranked Nebraska over San Diego State. Florida State rebounding against Texas Tech. That's a final. In the 4th quarter, Tennessee, no problem at all. Also in the 4th, Syracuse now really handing it to Maryland. And a final, East Carolina upset North Carolina State by 18. 3 tight ends, Sylvester Morgan, Wally Hartley, Gary Costner are in. Woodside loses 3. Carl Carl Dunbar, the sophomore, 6'4", 262, number 63. He was a redshirt back in '85. Had a great spring game, the coaches told us this year. Helped out by Kevin Guidry.
It's a tough play to make work on the goal line. The I formation with two tight ends is very easy to read defensively. You watch that fullback. They will not run away from him. They'll go with the fullback. LSU very quick. Got off the ball, was able to get out in front of Woodside. That's an inside power formation between the tackles.
The Aggies looking at 3rd and 7, have a minute 42 with which to work. Their deepest penetration, trying to get back into the game. They've taken timeout. Along with Kevin Kiley, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. The Aggies on the short end, but they are knocking on the door of LSU, and you can feel the electricity and the emotion now as 75,000 are on their feet, including the head coach.
If you're playing defense, you need to follow number 89, Sylvester Morgan, the tight end. I think they'll probably go wherever he is on that side.
Woodside in motion. Stump. Gets sacked. Oliver Lawrence comes crashing through, number 99, the junior from Monroe, Louisiana. And a flag is yet to be checked out.
They're going to call intentional grounding on Stump. He was caught, he was in the grasp, and he tried to get rid of the ball, but there was no way he could have seen a receiver.
The pass is incomplete. It's an illegal forward pass, intentional grounding.
The Chinese bandits were coming.
Well, they were reading Woodside. See, Woodside in motion. If he's not getting the ball on the run, he's out in a pass pattern. Here comes Hill, number 54. He goes down, but everybody has got a hold of Stump. Now watch what Stump does. No way he can see a receiver. He's in the grasp of Oliver Lawrence. He tries to throw it away. He loses the down and the yardage.
Has to be discouraging for the Aggies now because they had it 1st and goal inside the 10. Out of the hold of Craig Stump, Scott Slater. Certainly well within Scotty's range, 21 of 27 last year. He's kicked a 51-yarder against Rice, and this one is up and good. So the Aggies are on the board. They trail by 2 touchdowns with 90 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back to College Station. The last time that A&M was shut out at home, 10-0, back in 1965 by LSU in their home opener. Well, they've dodged that bullet, Kevin, and they've closed to within 2 touchdowns. Scott Slater bangs a beauty. It is 10 yards deep in the end zone, fielded by Sam Martin just before stepping out. So it'll be 1st and 10 LSU. But really, the Aggies are just 2 plays from tying things up. I mean, you can look at it. You have to go back and take what the defense can give you, get 1 touchdown before you start thinking about the second. There's Mickey Guidry checking in.
We talked about Mickey Guidry early in the game. Remember I told you in the passing situation, he was locking on the receivers. If A&M has noticed this and get him in a passing situation, they may be able to run a defense that will take advantage of that. So 1st down, very important here.
Guidry 0 for 2. Sam Martin gets banged backwards by Guy Broom out of Galveston, a senior, 6'6", 275. Well, we told you the Aggies dodged a shutout. That 41-yard field goal by Slater. They used a lot of time, a 14-play drive. That's a long drive to come away with just 3.
Very impressive drive for A&M. And Mike Archer's philosophy is to play a lot of people no matter what. And he's going with Guidry at a very tense time in this game. I happen to agree with it, by the way. I agree that he should play this kid because Hodson could go down in a heartbeat, and you have to have somebody if you're going to have a successful year. However, that was too much time.
Ball start, offense.
False start. It's a penalty.
Rodriguez, number 68, the left guard, a little motion. And the crowd getting back into the game. I mean, that's what LSU did in the 1st half. They, for all intents and purposes, took the crowd out.
And this is a large crowd. This is a big play for Guidry now. Screen and draw. Remember, defensively, look for the wide play if they run it. Inside handoff does nothing. And you can see the Aggie defense trying to
stripped the ball. Chet Brooks, from his strong side safety, came up and made that play.
Well, Brooks plays as a weak side linebacker there, Jim. They go to a nickel. Alex Morris playing strong side linebacker. They have defensive backs. Morris is normally a corner. Look at him playing strong side back there. He beats the block, gets in there, and then Chet Brooks, as you said, Jim, comes in from the other side and gets underneath it. Now, those two guys last year were cornerbacks. This year, they're playing at linebacker positions in the nickel, and it worked. Great speed, beating those big linemen and getting in there and making the play.
3rd and 17, and time has expired in quarter number 3. So the Aggies, after that 41-yard field goal by Scott Slater, are right back in the thick of things. They're down by 2 touchdowns, but the momentum is swinging over to the home team. 75,000 have jammed into College Station at Kyle Field to watch the home opener. Both are 10th ranked, LSU and Texas A&M. So the 4th quarter coming up live on ESPN, along with more scores and highlights. Welcome back to Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. Along with Kevin Kiley, I'm Jim Kelly. It's 3rd and 18 as the Aggie defense and 75,000 strong are on their feet. Nothing doing for Sam Martin. A punting situation. First snap of quarter number 4. Gary Jones, the sophomore from Tyler, Texas, stayed at home. Lots of tradition here at Kyle Field. The 12th man. They don't have cheerleaders. They have yell leaders.
Yeah, and they yell. R.C. Slocum, defensive coordinator, said we'll be inexperienced, but we'll be a quick, aggressive defense. And in the last few minutes of this game, if you've been watching, you've seen just that from A&M.
Matt DeFrank making sure he's got 10 blockers in front, anticipating the Aggie rush. Rod Harris back at his own 40. 2 punts for 51 yards, and DeFrank bangs a beauty. Fair catch is called for. Storyline, College Station, Texas. Both are ranked number 10. Hodson, 128 yards in passing for the Tigers. Big disparity in total plays still.
Yeah, but the differential was 20 plays at the half, and as you can see, it's less than that now, so it's been even since the 3rd quarter. Rushing yards, A&M dominated with the offensive line, so you can see it statistically. You can see this game turning, and now we're going to see what happens with that offensive line.
Jackie Sherrill sends in his quarterback, number 12, Lance Pavlis, the freshman, a sociology major, goes on top. He's got his man, Paddle, down near the 40-yard line. Now they say that it's an incompleted pass. Boy, they like this young freshman.
Well, what you just saw there was the offense of the future for A&M. Pavlis to Percy Waddle. Both of these guys are blue chippers. Now, Waddle coming off the field. He's dropped 2. He had a fumble. Actually had a fumble on 1, but that's a great athlete.
Pavlis passed for over 1,600 yards as a senior in high school. 46 touchdowns in the last 2 years. Option. Pitches back. Gets it to Darren Lewis. And Lewis hurls across midfield.
Darren Lewis gets the yardage, but what poise by Pavlis. He ran the option to perfection, actually faked upfield, was able to make that perfect pitch on the run as he was being hit. 8-yard gain.
That man has not just got a rifle for an arm, he's got a good head on his shoulders, a 3.9 average in high school. Played his high school ball for Lynn Etheridge. Needs 3 yards, 13:23 left. Rod Harris motions top of your screen. He's open. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Carl Dunbar, 6'4", 264, a red shirt. Punting team checks in for Jackie Sherrill.
Watching the patterns there, Jim, it was interesting that there were no 3- to 5-yard patterns on that play. They needed 3 yards, but everybody went downfield, and they just hadn't turned around by the time Pavlis was ready to throw. I don't know if they didn't read the defense or they didn't know where they were on the field.
And it would have been a great time to take advantage of the speed of Woodside out of the backfield. Jimmy Young is back deep. Sean Wilson hangs it high, hangs it deep, and Jimmy Young fields at the 3, at the 8. A 42-yard punt, 1st and 10 LSU. They're nursing a 14-point lead. Tonight's live CFA football is being brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet, and and buy Diet Coke. Enjoy Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it. I'm Jim Kelly, Kevin Kiley alongside at Kyle Field. Do we have enough K's? If you want alliteration, we've got it. Kelly, Kiley, and Kyle Field from College Station, Texas. 13:08 left to go in the regulation. A fumbled snap. Hodgson picks it up and is down at the 9. Guy Broom, the senior, stayed at home out of Galveston, Texas, number 93.
You take a look at Hodgson. He's been looking at some wild Aggies here for about a quarter and a half. He never gets the snap. This is the second time he didn't get the snap from Al Bergamo, and Texas A&M right there. A little close to his own goal line to be dropping snap. Hodgson 9 for 17, 128 yards. I believe that's what he was at the half. 128 yards passing.
Big defensive series for Texas A&M. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Harvey Williams, the sophomore from Hempstead, Texas. Dana Batiste, there is the youngest head coach in Division I. Mike Archer was appointed in the head coaching job December 23rd of last year. The 27th head coach at LSU. And again, he replaced Bill Arnsparger, who went on to become the athletic director at Florida. Single coverage. Over on that left side, he had Tony Jones spun around.
This is no match. This guy's a world-class receiver. 9 catches last year against this team. 80 catches on the year. Look at the room he gives him. Hodgson never even waited for him to break. He just laid the ball out there. There was so much room that he was able to pick up the first down. And that's a factor of A&M doing a lot of things on the line and having to play man coverage.
If you give Wendell Davis that much room, he'll conduct a clinic on you the rest of the night. Hodgson, airborne. Misfires in the flat, looking for Tony Moss over in the right flat and threw it out of bounds. Elsewhere in college football tonight, let's see what's going on. San Diego State getting hammered by UCLA. You'll see the 4th-ranked Bruins next week. Kevin and I will be there for Nebraska, ranked number 2. 17th-ranked Tennessee on top over Colorado State by a bunch. Likewise, Duke, that's the final score. Mississippi State hammering Southwest Louisiana. That's over. South Carolina beating Appalachia State, and that's in the record books as well. Scores and highlights with Tim Brando throughout the day on game day. 2nd and 10. A little trap that does nothing. Harvey Williams. Sammy O'Brien, the nose tackle, the senior from Houston, 6'3", 260, all Southwest Conference last year, the nose guard. He commands attention.
We talked about this defense and how they were overrunning plays early in the game. They've settled down. They're playing a lot better. O'Brien, the nose guard, doing a good job in the middle. See him number 90 there and everybody coming. This defense is an excellent defense, and they have now settled down and are playing very well half for 3 quarters. O'Brien, by the way, is dyslexic, and yet he's getting through school doing a good job.
When he was a sophomore, his team hadn't won in 5 years. Hodgson over the middle. The 33-yard line out of the backfield, Harvey Williams. They needed 8 in the grasp of Alex Morris.
What a hit there by Chet Brooks. He tried to strip the ball off of Williams. Williams, just a sophomore. What poise he showed on that play. Brooks went right through him the way he's supposed to, through his hands, and he was able to hold on to the ball. And Hodgson, super pass by Hodgson, too.
Jackie Sherrill not happy with where the officials spotted the ball. It's a first down for the Tigers. Remember, this drive started back at LSU's 8-yard line. Aggies want timeout. Jackie Sherrill wants to talk to the officials. The referee is Jimmy Harper. Jackie says, "Excuse me, might I have a word with you?" 10.5 left to go in the ball game. The Tigers lead by 2 touchdowns.
Jackie Sherrill, A&M coach, had a problem where the ball was spotted. He came out onto the field, and they threw a flag on him for coming out onto the field and a 15-yard penalty. And there it is, right at his feet. Jackie couldn't miss it. So now it's spotted 15 yards down the field, and Jackie's still upset about it.
Jimmy Harper is the referee in the white hat. Jackie Sherrill is the man with the sunburned face. of action in college football earlier. Well, this one's still going on. Tulane coming back against Louisville. Temple on top over Toledo. Dan Simmerl having a tough time with the Rockets. Oklahoma State leading Tulsa in the fourth quarter. Rice leading Lamar. That's a final. In the second quarter, New Mexico State on the short end. Baylor, the Bears are beating Louisiana Tech in the third. The ball has been spotted at the 48-yard line. It's 1st and 10 LSU. They lead by 2 touchdowns. Harvey Williams, the sophomore out of Hempstead, Texas, number 22, Kevin. In the first quarter, he had 7 rushes for 47 yards. Since then, 7 carries for 23 yards. So the Aggies have been doing a good job of containing Mr. Williams.
And what they did, we're going to get a 5-yard penalty on LSU here for procedure. What they've been doing is that A&M was not successful in their base defense early in the game, and they went to a lot of movement and blitzes. They stopped the running game, shut down the passing game, but now they're forced into man coverage, and Hodson's been picking on that.
1st and 15 after a penalty against A&M, and then 5 yards stepped off against LSU. Hodson reads the blitz, unloads. He's got Wendell Davis, and he drops the ball at the 40-yard line. Alex Morris, a good job defensively, stripped Wendell Davis of the football.
Well, that's Alec Morris. Now, again, out there at the corner, he's a little bit new. Davis, the All-American. Man coverage, because they're doing things up front. The ball is there, just a little bit short, and not bad coverage there by Morris. He did a nice job from Arlington, Texas. But that's a weakness in that defense, is that Hodson and Davis are tough in man coverage, and A&M, in order to be effective up front, has to play it.
Tony Moss, number 6, checks in at wide receiver for the Tigers. In motion, there goes Victor Jones. Blitz. Hodson unloads. He's got Jones. And Jones commands the crowd up near the 47. In the grasp of Kip Corrington, who has an interception tonight. He had 3 last year, and he has 1 in the opening game of '87.
Believe it or not, Hodson does not have a really strong arm. It's strong, but it's not a great arm. What he does so well, he identifies, as you look at his numbers, 128 of that in the first half, and we're 9 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the game. He identifies defenses, gets the ball out there quick. That's his strength.
6 defensive backs in for the Aggies. Morris, Corrington, Jones, Brooks, and Washington. 3rd and 12. Blitz. Hodson in trouble and loads. Incomplete at the 40-yard line. Looking in the general direction of Wendell Davis, who turned it inside, the ball thrown outside. Gary Jones, sophomore from Tyler, Texas, on the coverage.
He's been able to watch this Texas A&M defense mature. They're going to get a round of applause from the crowd. You've watched them get older as this game has progressed. They have progressed so far since early in the first quarter that they are now controlling the game.
Let's see if the Aggies, as you check in with scores around Major League Baseball today and all those pennant races. 3 punts, by the way, 48 yards. Let's see if the Aggies will try and block this punt. Aggies have the return on. DeFrank hangs it high, hangs a beauty. He had 1 of 57 yards, hits at the 2, and it'll be down inside the 5 at the 1.5-yard line. But there's a flag yet to be checked out, back at the 48-yard line. We'll have to check in with Jimmy Harper, the referee, and see if it's against the Aggies. A 53-yard punt holding against Texas A&M. Egloff down the punt inside the 5. .9:23 left to go before, and we've got a 14-point lead. LSU on top, 17-3. There's Jimmy Harper. Bit of a conclave going on.
Well, Tigers better not make a mistake on what they want here, because if they decline the penalty, A&M will be backed up to their own goal line.
What's the decision?
Holding, defense, decline.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Aggies. There is Jackie Sherrill. We talked about Kip Corrington, who has 1 interception tonight. Not only is he a great football player, he's also a student of the game. And he ranks number 1 in his class of over 3,900.
The only B he ever got was American Literature, 1879 to the present. And I don't know about you, but I'm staying away from that course.
He also excels in the snake dance.
Yeah.
You know, the first time he did it, some of his secondary teammates said he looked like a lizard, a sick lizard. Now they say he's the best at the snake dance. So he's smart, and he's good, and he's our student of the game. The Aggies having problems. Pavlis stays in at quarterback. Melvin Collins, 32, from Temple, Texas, is the fullback. And Brian Ross checks in at wide receiver, number 86, along with Wally Hartley, 92, Rod Harris, 17, and Percy Waddle, 15.
Well, the difference here, I think there's a couple of differences in the offense. Now, with Stump, you have the experience. You could run the option. You could try to get him outside. With Pavlis, you have that long pass capability, and they're leaving Pavlis in the game. So don't be surprised you see maybe A&M going up on top, use the strength of his arm.
Bill Arnsparger's defense, when he was at the helm of the Fighting Tigers since 1984, when LSU has held opponents to 17 points or less, very impressive. There's the man that succeeded him as the head coach, the 27th head football coach at that great school in Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana. Melvin Collins on a dive. The purple and gold of LSU. With a 14-point lead. Darrell Phillips, the nose guard out of Franklin, Louisiana, the junior, 6'2", 245 on the stop. You almost, Kevin, have to throw the ball now. You're behind by 2 touchdowns, 9 minutes. You can't afford a long, sustained drive. You've got to start working, chipping away, even passing out in the flat. Maybe a screen pass.
Yeah, his field position really working against him here. It was a bad break with that punt for A&M, and it's not worth it.
Collins and Woodside are the running backs. Collins gets the call. Brings it across the 10. He'll be about a yard shy of first down yardage. 3rd and 1.
Great job by Matt Wilson, and a tremendous cut by Collins out of the fullback position. Stopped on a dime, went back against the grain and made yardage.
Burla, the sophomore, in on the tackle defensively for LSU. 6'2", 222 out of New Orleans. Another red shirt from 85. Jackie Sherrill played on 2 national championship teams for Mr. Paul Bear Bryant. Presses over 400 pounds, blocking up front by Wilson, McGuire, and Montenot. Had to get just shy of the 12. First down for the Aggies. Clint James on the stop.
What a job Louis Cheek, number 79, has done all night. He's 280 pounds. Watch him there, the left tackle, just blowing people out. And Collins going right behind him. And although he gets hit, Cheek cleared it out so you couldn't get a real good shot at him, and his forward lean was able to give him the first down.
His father was active on the rodeo circuit. Now Pavlis goes airborne. Incomplete at the 19, looking for Tony Taylor, the sophomore out of Kilgore, Texas. 4.5 speed.
It's a tough pass for anybody to throw, but for a freshman, he's rolling to the left, turn around, coming back to the sideline, to the long sideline. He just couldn't make it connect.
Question for you now. If Pavlis can't get things going on this drive, do you think we might see Bucky Richardson? Because the coaches say that they're about equal, the 2 young freshmen.
They are equal in ability, but they would like to redshirt Bucky Richardson, the great 3rd-string quarterback, who, by the way, physically they think is equal to Pavlis. No, I don't think they put him on.
2nd and 10, pitch back. It goes to Melvin Collins. Nice down at the 12. Clint James crashing through again.
Good play there by the defense. Now, A&M has had great success off tackle, but not a whole lot of success going wide on that play. They didn't. LSU, I've said they're not strong, but they are quick. They get outside.
Let me tell you something about Clint James, number 70, as you look at the shot there. He was the same height, 6'6", in high school, but he weighed 40 pounds less. They call it Cajun food.
He's their pass rusher, James. They switch back and forth.
He was recruited an outside linebacker. The Aggies are 5 for 11 on 3rd down conversion. Pavlis to put it up. He needs 11. He won't get it. Penalty flags are down. Stops the clock with 6:48. You're surprised how well the LSU defense has played, how well they've contained the Aggies all night.
I'd say LSU's played well for 25 years.
DeLeo game, failed to get the playoff.
That's what you give up there. And that's a penalty that's called before the play, so the play does not count. They will get another shot, and that's actually a break for A&M.
The youngest head coach in Division I, just 6 minutes, 48 seconds away from his very first victory. Grew up in State College, Pennsylvania, in the shadow of the Penn State campus. Little delay. Melvin Collins cracks it across the 15, up near the shy of first down yardage, and the Aggies will have to give it up again. That man learned his defense under Bill Arnsparger. He learned his offense under Howard Schnellenberger. Two pretty good keepers.
And he's grateful, and he said he was grateful when we met with him. He's blessed. He feels that he played under those two great coaches, and coached under those two great coaches. And what experience he has.
Wilson, it's been a busy night. He's had 5. He gets his 6th, and it's a line drive kick fielded by Jimmy Young at the 46. Dances to midfield, looks for a blocker. They've got a wall set up outside. Jimmy Young at the 35. 6:03 left to go before this game is over. A 38-yard punt, but a 20-yard return. Jim Kelly and Kevin Kiley back at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. 6 minutes and 3 seconds left to go. The Tigers in total control. They lead 17-3.
Remember, A&M never loses. They just get outscored.
That's right. There's what Hodgson has done tonight, and the two young quarterbacks for Jackie Sherrill and Texas A&M. Hodgson with a hot hand. The super sophomore gives it to Harvey Williams, who had a great first quarter. Looked like he bobbled the ball a bit and then grabbed it back in near the 35. Basil Jackson on the stop, the junior from Hammond, Louisiana.
There were 8 players in on that tackle for A&M. This Aggie defense has gotten very, very stingy in the second half. Actually, it was field position that LSU scored on a turnover. They got the ball on around the 25-yard line for their second touchdown, and then the big kick return set up their field goal. So field position is helpful.
2nd and 11. The backs, Williams 22, Jones 34. Jones with 2 touchdowns, penalty flags. Tigers might have taken too much time. This afternoon, 5th-ranked Auburn. So it'll be a bad night in the Lone Star State if the Aggies go down. Florida State on top over Texas Tech. Washington whips up on Stanford by 10. Tennessee trouncing Colorado State. Oh, my. Syracuse slugging Maryland. That's a final now. 2nd and 16 as LSU goes back in Louisville. Upends Tulane by 2. Defense non-existent in that one. Hodgson with an audible now. Incomplete at the 33-yard line, looking for his favorite receiver, Wendell Davis. You talked about the Aggies never losing. They just get outscored. That's the tradition here at College Station. The student body will stick around after the game if Texas A&M loses and practice yelling.
They have yell practice, Jim, because they feel that it was not the team's fault. It was their fault. They didn't yell loud or hard enough, and I actually believe that they believe it. And at one time, Jackie Sherrill, when he felt the team did not play well, made the team stay out and go to yell practice with him.
There are no ex-students here. They're all former students. And every game at LSU or at Texas A&M is a homecoming. There's one of the yell leaders. They don't have cheerleaders. That's a yell leader.
Tremendous tradition here. It's a special place. Once you enter town, you can just feel it. They take great pride in their university and great pride in their football team. And this is a good one, and will be a good one throughout the year.
3rd and 16. Hodgson has Wendell Davis and Raji McGee wide to the right. Eddie Fuller in the backfield. Hodgson goes down on a great safety blitz. Aaron Wallace, the outside linebacker, the sophomore from Dallas, comes crashing through, the first to get there.
What they said about the linebackers on this team is that they're great athletes, very physical. They just lacked experience. When it comes down to a blitz, which really is not a read, watch him go right over the block. Look at the strength of Aaron Wallace, and then the trip of Aaron Wallace. And this defense has dominated this game in the second half. LSU hasn't done badly either, but a big turnaround for A&M.
Wallace with 4.6 speed at 5 quarterback sacks last year. Matt DeFrank, the kicker for LSU, averaging about 40 yards per punt. He did have a punt 71 yards last year.
Well, there's an interesting penalty. Their punting team took a deliberate penalty on the 47-yard line to give this guy more room to punt the ball. You think they have confidence in his legs?
You don't think that Matt's 71-yarder was on natural grass, do you?
Well, they're giving him room here. He's standing on his own 35, and they want to give him more room.
The turf here at Texas A&M is of the artificial variety. They just spent about $600,000 to install it. And Jackie Sherrill says he wants to go back to natural grass in 3 or 4 years because it's a home field advantage. DeFrank, sacked by the Aggie defense. John Roper. Roper redshirted in '84, cracked his head open in the first half. Blood was gushing up.
4 minutes, 10 seconds to go. The Aggies have the ball on the turnover. And this snap is bobbled. I thought he could have got it away. He never tried. DeFrank goes down. A lot of people coming. And the snap a little bit off center, but I was surprised to see him just eat it. I thought he might try to get it away.
First and 10 Aggies at the 27-yard line at LSU. Pitchback. On a dive, it goes to Larry Horton, the freshman out of Tatum, Texas. 1,500 yards on 226 carries as a senior in high school.
19 touchdowns. That's an interesting spot for a freshman. They have Pavlis in the game, and they put in Horton, another freshman, immediately go to him with the game in the balance.
3:45, lots of time if the Aggies can get a quick touchdown. Randy Simmons, the lone running back, gets the call. Why aren't you throwing the ball?
Defensive alignment, plus they're in close. Certain keys for the offense. The offense comes out and they key certain things. He can check off if he doesn't like it.
3:24 left to go. The Tigers on top by 14, but the Aggies knocking on the Tigers' door. Strong running game led by their I-back Keith Jones. UCLA with their back Gaston Green. Don't forget 5 o'clock. What a showdown we've got for you on ESPN. What a game left to go here. 3rd and 6. Thomas at quarterback, backpedaling. Fires over the middle, got his man at the 20-yard line. That's number 33, Keith Woodside, looping out of the backfield. Nicky Hazard, the linebacker, number 48, out of New Orleans on the stop.
And Hazard did a very smart thing there. He hooked up in his defensive drop. He hooked up right at the first down marker, and he made him keep the pattern in front of him. Woodside had to hook up in front of Hazard. Hazard knew exactly where he was when he made the tackle. There was no first down.
Matt Wilson, the senior center out of Houston, an agronomy major, brings the Aggies out. They need a push. They've got it and more. First and goal, Texas A&M inside the 5. Keith Woodside. Covered by Greg Jackson, the junior out of Miami, a quarterback in high school before he went to LSU.
And Lance Pavlis, out of high school, his first game. Crossing pattern. All right, there's a block away from the play. Let's take a look at it here. A little out pattern. Pavlis, a perfect pass. Woodside making the catch.
Down to the 6-yard line. Slashing goes Larry Norton in the grasp of Darrell Phillips. Blocking on that front line by number 50, Matt Wilson. By 67, Jerry Fontenot. And by 78, Tony Bartley, the senior out of Decatur, Georgia.
I find this very interesting that Jackie would go to Horton. He's used Lewis earlier in the game. He's been carrying the ball. Now he's gone to Horton, who did not play the whole game, and given him the ball.
Keith Woodside checks back in. Pavlis goes airborne. Throws it away. 3rd and 6. Ron Sancho. And now a late flag.
Jackie's not going to like this. If they call this intentional grounding, he's not going to like it. There was a receiver in the general vicinity. Yeah.
No flag.
Yeah.
Eligible receiver was in the area. No flag.
Yeah. Put it back. If you ever get a good look at Jackie Sherrill's eyes, the man doesn't have to say much.
The young freshman quarterback, a sociology major, 6'2", 195. Jackie Sherrill going the rest of the way. The game in the balance. Harris to the right. Pavlis dropped at the 3. No flag.
Very close
penalty interference. And we're a long way away. Sylvester Morgan, 89, the senior tight end out of Houston. Chris Carrier, the senior out of Eunice, Louisiana, back there on the coverage.
Carrier, the best of the defensive secondary. Morgan, not a great receiver, kind of slow. They were looking to fool him, and they didn't. Carrier all over Morgan. The first throw to him today. Interesting, you asked why they were running earlier, and I'm wondering why they threw 3 passes here on the 1.5-yard line.
Well, they're at the 6.
Excuse me, 6 of them. I read 9 again.
4th and 6. Rod Harris slided out to the left along with Waddle. Penalty flag comes down. And let's see if it's too much time. Texas A&M are up.
Hey, penalties too much time. Watch Jackie Sherrill.
Watch the clock.
A lesson that Pavlos won't forget, I'm sure, for the rest of the season.
Line of scrimmage, the 11, so it's 4th and goal from that spot. Oliver, 87, wide to the top of the screen. The freshman needs it all, won't get it this way. It's underthrown at the 8-yard line. Bumped out of bounds at the 4. Keith Woodside. So the Chinese Bandits come up big again. They've held the Aggies to just a field goal.
I think the story of this game is the LSU defense was everywhere it had to be in this game, and they're there. Even though there's a missed tackle, there's a backup. And as you can see, the rest of the defense coming. A very quick pursuing defense, well coached. Guidry coming in to make the play.
Part of the story has to be the coaching of Mike Archer. He's now just a minute and a half away from a win. Jim Kelly and Kevin Kiley back at Kyle's Field here in College Station, Texas. A 14-point lead for the Tigers. They can run out the clock. The Aggies are out of timeouts. 99 seconds away from a victory. Head coach Mike Archer, who grew up in College, Pennsylvania, State College, PA, in the shadow of Penn State campus. Even lived next door to Nittany Lion head coach Joe Paterno at one point. Went to Miami, wanted to play baseball. But after juggling both football and baseball and a full-time class load, decided to concentrate on football. He was a 2-year starter at safety, then a punter. Ended up getting his bachelor's degree in education, then his master's in health and phys ed. Takes over the program at LSU, succeeding Bill Arnsparger, who of course went on to the Florida athletic directorship. And I really don't think you can say enough about the coaching job and preparation that Mike Archer has done to come in here to College Station, Texas, where the Aggies have not been beaten for 14 straight games, going up Jackie Sherrill. And what a job Mike Archer has done.
He's beating a good one there, too.
Looks a little bit like Mike Keenan, the head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers hockey team.
He's a happy guy tonight. Take this one home. That's his 10th in a row on the road, or at least LSU's 10th in a row on the road.
Well, you knew something had to give as far as streaks. Aggies had won 14 in a row at home, and LSU had won 9 in a row on the road. Stumbling forward goes Victor Jones, but no matter, because all he'll remember are 2 touchdown runs from this game. There is a happy man. The youngest head coach in Division I just posted victory number 1. Mike Archer. You'll remember this one a long time. You come into the enemy camp and you upset the Aggies. Well, we'll see LSU a couple of more times on our ESPN Saturday night CFA telecast. And we'll also see the Aggies. We'll be back here for Thanksgiving when they take on the Longhorns.
I think what we saw tonight were 2 different teams from Texas A&M. LSU very simply did what they had to do. They got the early points and they held them off. They were on the road. For Texas A&M, I think the first half, you saw a young team trying to get their feet under them. In the second half, you saw a very, very tenacious and excellent defense and an offense that began to establish themselves but had problems when they got down close. And that's typical of a young team because their offense has to be a lot more precise, and they didn't make it happen. But Texas A&M will be reckoned with in the Southwest Conference. They're an excellent team, and LSU, they'll move up in the rankings, and they'll be tough in the Southeast Conference.
They said of his age, the one thing you can't ask of the youngest head coach is how long is it before you retire? He's only thinking of many more victories. We'll be back.